Oh, look who's calling me back.
Yeah, I know. I said after 5. It's 5:03.
Hmm.
I'm still driving, but
I mean, I listen. I'm just going by your time schedule here.
I
Uh,
mean, you're very punctual. After 5, you called. It was 5:01.
well, see, here's the thing. After last week or last episode, where I had to record it at like fucking midnight because
It was a good episode, though.
it
So
it was
stop
a
bitching.
listen. Calm down. It was all right. It was better. Listen, we don't set the bar high here, so you can't say in the grand scheme of things that was like a fucking grand slam home run. I mean, for us it was, but for any self-respecting podcaster, that was like a double. So let's keep that straight. Second of all, like I said, you had me up till like midnight editing and uploading and whatever.
Oh, like you're not up anyway. You fucking liar.
But here's the thing: do I want to be up doing that or enjoying my time?
But your time, you don't do anything all day. The whole fight, you have a fucking whole
It's
life
like,
of time.
but it's like, why are you driving home? Why don't you stay at work another 10 hours? You're up anyways.
No, it's not even close. If I could be in my underwear eating Doritos on the couch, different story.
Half the time you're working, you're doing that. Every day you're working from home, you're doing
Fucking
that.
guy.
Unless you have to be on the fucking
Fucking guy.
on the Zoom call, then you at least put a clean T-shirt on, or a or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, the other reason, you disgusting foul creature.
Look, I got a fart too, but I'm holding it in.
All right. Well, you can put the phone down there and let it rip if you want. Let the ladies know what you really like. The other reason was that we're about to make a phone call.
Do you have his number? Because I forgot to send it to you.
Yeah, I have his number because again, like I'm the pro and you're the amateur. Here we go. I forgot to send.
Listen. I am the star of the show. I can't do the work. We need lackeys to do this. We need to have like an assistant. Does anybody out there want to be our assistant?
Just
so
because
that we don't have to do any of this work.
Just because your job description is talent doesn't also require you to be a diva. Okay, you could be you could lend hand. You know what I mean? You could help build the ring, so to speak.
I think we need some like an assistant, like a production assistant.
Well,
somebody who's gonna, they're gonna take the notes down. They're gonna call people.
Well, here's what happens. Obviously, this would be an unpaid position. So,
right.
The old saying, you get what you pay for? I think you're going to get what you pay for out of that.
I mean, they can add it to their internship. Breakfast Club internship.
Yeah, but you could add that to your resume whether you did a good job or a bad. Like, they'll just lie and say we're no longer in business, so they can't call us for a referral. So yeah, I figured we should give the infamous Bobby Rogers a call.
I'm nervous about this.
You should be, because it's been unearthed that he is the Annie Wilkes, the
Dorito giver.
The who were some of the other names? The Brandon and Mikey Walsh.
Walsh, yeah.
On my new packages, from the Maitland party. Lydia Dietz, which is a referral to Beetlejuice. And then I don't know who these guys are. I never looked them up. Bruce Nolan and Evan Baxter.
They're from Bruce Almighty.
Oh, okay, there you go. Right, because the note says, you are our true Lord and Savior. So I got, before we bring them on, I got in the mail, what was it, yesterday morning? I got a 5-pound Hershey's chocolate bar, which is like giant, and 5 pounds in the form of a chocolate bar seems
a lot of chocolate.
Seems heavy. And then another box of chocolate stuff. And I ate myself sick that night. I ate both bags of chocolate covered pretzels, and earlier in the day there was like a the caramel popcorn, but with also chocolate on it. So between those two things, that's all I ate yesterday. And I felt so sick from just eating. I was like a kid that just ate candy for like 2 meals.
He could have sent you some better stuff at least.
Listen, let's bring him on because he went into this active politicking, denying it, saying it's you framing him, et cetera, and we'll hold please. Let me see if I can.
This is bad. This is not going to be a good.
If I can do this, because
I'm throwing a disclaimer out. Any story he tells is not true.
He's very excited to do this because all this is to get on our radar, to get on this podcast. I truly believe that.
Right.
Yeah, which is why he didn't send you anything.
Right.
All right, hold on. Let me call
just
him.
The talent.
I might disappear for a second. We'll be back. Hello, Bobby.
Yes.
I'm going to merge you in with the other call and see if we've got Anthony on the line yet.
Yeah.
There he is. Now,
you got me.
I got you. Do I got him? It says.
You got me.
Here we go.
I'm here.
Okay.
There he is.
I would just like to say Anthony is very nervous about this call.
He should be.
Listen, whatever he says is not true.
First of all, we need to have a moment of honesty here. We have some Amazon packages that have arrived at my house where your name is on the paperwork. And you were spending all day yesterday trying to pin it on Anthony. And so we need to clear this up first before we move any further.
All right. I won't lie to you. Anthony sent me.
Oh, here we go.
Look, Anthony, if you're a real friend of Ben's, you know Ben's trying to diet, okay? So you know he doesn't want junk food. So if you were a real friend of his, even if you didn't really send the food, wouldn't you just admit to it so he wouldn't get any more food? Because if you don't admit to it, I'm going to send him cookies and Reese's Cups and pizzas and McDonald's every week for the rest of his life until you admit it. So why don't you
let him fatten him up.
Why don't you just say I sent it, even though you didn't say it, even though you didn't send it, then just say I sent it.
Because he's so miserable eating the food, I want him to continue to be miserable.
Right? See, because you're not a friend, because you want him to get him because you did send it.
Here we go.
I ate myself sick yesterday on popcorn and chocolate pretzels. I'm not gonna lie, that's all I ate all day. I had 2 meals.
You sent him pretzels and what? You sent him chocolate pretzels and popcorn?
I'm too cheap to send that stuff. I would never do that.
Here's the other reason why I have to discount Anthony from this is that all these notes from all these people are all movie references. And he only knew one of them. He's not movie savvy. He doesn't watch movies. So,
no, I don't. I maybe he had Nick help him or Marco or somebody. I don't know.
I think it was Seth Craig. That's who I was trying to.
Oh my God, that guy.
Yeah, I did look at the account. Why is he following the account that sent you the? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question too. All right, so. Oh, so that's not going to get cleared up. But so anyway, I have a 5-pound bar of chocolate in my house, which I may just re-gift to my father since it's his birthday tomorrow. Even though he is type 2 diabetic.
You're going to kill your dad.
Well, that's the one where you don't take injections. You just have to watch what you eat. So just a little bit of chocolate every day won't kill you. Yeah, so at least it'll serve a purpose other than fattening me up because I'm not open. I might eat the pretzels and the popcorn, but I'm not going near that bar of chocolate.
Now your father, your middle name is after your father, correct?
My middle name? No.
Yeah. Oh, that's what Janetti told me when he called me to tell me.
I thought it was your dad's name. Like, where'd you get that middle name from?
See, you are why he thought that. He called me the other day and told me when he sent the packages out to you that he was going to put your middle name on there, but he didn't want to put your middle name on there because he thought you would know it was him.
Tell the truth here. You want to know the real truth? I knew it was him all along. I just kept my mouth shut.
All right.
That's called conspiracy.
It was me, Austin. Yeah. No, my dad's name is James. That's I'm like named after my grandfather, but his name's Harold. They just picked an H name and made it Hebrew, and yeah, it's fucking crazy Jew stuff,
Well, that sounds like a Jewish name that was born on Krypton, actually.
Yeah, Hillel, Kal-El, Jor-El, yes.
I know.
All right. Well, now we have you on. We have told several Davey Rodeo podcasts, but we figured we should have the man responsible for it on to clear up all the fantasies being told.
Well, there are dozens of stories. I mean, what stories do you want confirmed or told? There's a story when Hack Myers tried to steal a limousine.
I told that story. Story.
That's a true story.
That was scary.
That's a true story. He tried to steal a limousine. There's a story when Janetti, we thought, killed Mr. Perfect. Although he didn't. Mr. Perfect did die. He did pass away, and sadly, a month or two later, that wasn't because of it, but he may have been a contributing factor to it. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I think we tried to tell that story twice, and
we never told it.
The powers that be, whether it being a drop call or a technical malfunction with the computer, we never got to tell that story. We get into it a little bit, but we never tell it. So that's one on the.
We did tell the Hack Myers story, trying to steal the limousine, though.
Well, here, I could tell you the Hack Myers story. There was a Hack Myers story. Forget the limo. This one blows it away. This is a Hack Myers story. It's called the Hardcore Kitten story. It involves Hack Myers.
The phone's breaking up. I can't hear.
I think this is the only thing that Anthony said we can't tell on the podcast is the hardcore.
My kids listen to this. My mom listens to this.
So what? You're not involved in it. It involves Hack Myers and Ricky Vandal. So what? Oh, why? She'll be upset because Ricky Vandal was in it? All right, so here's the Hardcore Kitten story. It was at an IPW show in Tampa, and we used to go to Diamond Dolls afterwards, next door to the hotel. And we'd walk in, and when we walk into the hotel, to the bar, I would start off by buying 100, 150, or 200 Jolo shooter shots.
This is true story.
I would just pay for them up front, and they would come to us, and we would just drink them all. And then, like 15 minutes later, when we were out, we'd order another 100, 200, whatever we wanted.
Good Lord.
Whoever was there.
For how many people, about?
Like anywhere from 4 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still a lot. Wow.
We'd go through on average about 400 to 600 Jell-O shots. Or no, were they Jell-O shots or Jolly Ranchers?
No, they were Jell-O shots.
They were Jolly Rancher shooters. They weren't Jell-O. They weren't. They were Jolly Rancher shooters. Right.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I drank at the time. So anyway, one particular night, Hardcore Kitten was a ring rat from IPW.
She listens to the show.
She was I don't know her real name anyway. I wouldn't give it out anyway. So, and it was myself, Ricky Vandal, and Hack Myers in a hotel room on a king-size bed.
Eric's gonna get so much shit for this because everybody knows him that listens to this show.
And she and Hardcore Kitten. You ever see the cartoon where the seal is blowing the horns in the circus? It was kind of like that. And standing behind her was MVP, who was Antonio Banks at the time, who was inserting parts of his hand into parts of her body. and then playing with MVP was another female. I don't know if it was his wife or not. I can't confirm that. I don't remember. But there was another female who was playing with MVP at the time. And then in the corner of the room was Aaron Royal, who was doing commentary on the whole thing. And he was commentating the whole chain of events. And I don't think the hotel door was locked either. So I know people were walking in and turning around saying, okay, and walking out.
I must not have been there this time. I don't remember this.
Yeah, you weren't. And so that was the Hack Myers. You were there, but you were at the bar, I think. You were looking for Johnny Vandal because Johnny Vandal was lost in the bushes that night because of the rain. Because Billy Fives wouldn't let him. Billy Fives wouldn't let him come into the bar because he was too young.
Oh, this was that. So that was the same night.
I think so. I don't know. They
all run together.
Kinds of nights. Yeah. So, but yeah, there were lots of crazy FOW stories about Hack Myers was involved in a lot of them. Hack Myers at Davy Ale House, where he was fucked up one night. Can I say that on your?
You can
on
say
your
whatever you
podcast?
want.
Okay. He was messed up at Davy.
About someone's hand.
Well, I didn't say he was finger fucking her. I just said parts of his hand, parts of his body were in her part. All right. So Hack Myers was messed up at the DVL house, and he was reaching into some girl's panties at the next table and snapping her panties. And the guys at the next table had grabbed a steak knife, and they had palmed it. They were about to stab Hack Myers, and I grabbed Dave Johnson and Casey Thompson, and I said, "Look, we got to get him out of here." So we ushered Hack out of there, and Dave and Casey went and talked to the guys that were going to kill Hack. I think I bought their dinner and their drinks, which was like $100 and something, and they were fine with it. On the way out, Hack saw some girl and picked her up, and she was drunk and went back to the hotel room, and he passed out. So the girl left. So he was so messed up that we went and bought some Ivory soap and a 10-pack of condoms, and we put a couple drops in each condom. we threw them on the ceiling, threw them on the wall, put them on his head, on his forehead, and we painted his toenails pink. We put lipstick on him, and then we left him there. And the next day he calls me and goes, "Oh, man, I hooked up with those 4 girls last night. It was wild." I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's good." And there was a time he got diarrhea on the way home, and we had to stop in the bushes, and he was screaming at me from the bushes that he had diarrhea in the bushes, and he needed toilet paper. I didn't have any, so I made him buy Dave Johnson Blackheart shirts at full price to use as toilet paper. So,
those are some really crazy times, like insane.
They're the kind of stories that if you told someone normal that wasn't involved in wrestling or a deranged motherfucker listening to this podcast, they would probably run and hide. Like I can never tell my family these stories. I can never tell, Anthony Giannetti's kids that it really wasn't Hack Myers. It was really him in that story with Cardboard Kitten. I could never say that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was looking for Johnny in the bushes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I can never say that stuff.
Well, luckily no one we know ever listens to the show.
Right.
I've actually never heard it. I see him post all the time, but I don't even know what podcast is. Are you like in a pod or something? I don't even know what it is. I don't know.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will get messages tomorrow and be like, "Is that story true?" And I'm like, "No, Bobby's the biggest liar on earth."
No, it's true. Anyone who wants to text me can call me at 636-459-8688. I'll give you his phone number if you want. So wait, hang on. Now all I did was tell the Hardcore Kid story. If you want to deny it, like you denied sending Ben Temples and stuff, that's fine. Hang on. Oh, wait a second. Hey, can you show a VHS tape on your podcast?
I mean, for the YouTube one, I sure can.
Okay, let's go to another topic here. I got a question.
I got a fun. Go ahead.
How many times have you given Chuck Oren's phone number out?
I was just thinking of that as I was giving my phone number. I did it a lot. So it was like when I was if I was heel managing somebody and Chuck was referee, and Chuck would give me shit like don't interfere, and I would accuse him of making a bad call. I would say, hey, if you fans have a problem with Chuck, give him a call, and I would give his number out.
Brilliant.
You did that to me once too, like on commentary or something.
Yes. Oh yeah, I did do that to you on commentary.
Yeah,
I did.
You gave my phone number out, and I was getting weird text messages and phone calls, and people were like, "I'm like, how the hell did everybody get my number?" And somebody was like, "Bobby gave it out on commentary." I'm like, "What?"
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Now I have a question. I'm gonna this is an important one. So I don't know if you obviously see it on Facebook, but I'm gonna wrestle Billy July 18th.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
What
are the chances that you could be there for me? I'm gonna get revenge on Billy for kicking your ass back in 2000 and whatever. So is there any way you could come to the show to watch Billy lay there in a pool of blood?
Wait, you're gonna get revenge on Billy for kicking my ass? How are you gonna do that? I'm gonna kick your ass so bad it overshadows the ass kicking I got? I mean, how are you going to get revenge on Billy? He's going to beat you up so bad that people forget the time he beat me up and remember this time.
Well,
but whose show is this on? Where is this going to be at?
It's for Gangrel, Dave Heath. July 18th in Fort Lauderdale, I guess.
In Dania.
Yeah, probably Hollywood, Dania, somewhere in there.
I could definitely come down there for that because I don't think I'm going to be able to make the Rusty Brooks Memorial at the end of June because I will not be in the state. So I don't think I have plans for July 18th. So I probably could definitely come down there for the July 18th. And Jody lives right around the corner from his school.
You guys could come watch Billy's retirement match.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ! I'm definitely tagging Billy in this.
Don't tag him. Don't tag him in this. He doesn't need to hear this.
I mean, do we want to tell anybody Billy 5 stories since we've got him on our tongues and
when Billy 5's kicked his ass, that honest to God, I've never been scared for. I literally thought Bobby was dead. I was like, he's dead. This is the end of it. He's dead.
Well, see, the story behind that with Billy is that Billy had given me shots to the head with a chair and the kendo stick and the garbage can. He gave me so many shots that I couldn't. My head was actually numb. So the true story, when I went to get the color, I couldn't feel it. And he's like, nothing. So I went again. He's like, no, nothing. So I went again. He's like, no, nothing. So when I went to do it the fourth time, he pushed my hand and helped me, and really almost killed me. But you know what? If you want to call Billy Fives, 864-201. Is not his number, it's Anthony's number.
You gotta bleep that out. Do not put my number on here.
I would give Chuck's number out, but I don't have that in my phone anymore.
I'll bleep it out as much as I remembered bleeping out that you work for a certain place, and
Can we call Billy? Can we add Billy to this conversation?
I don't know. I'm nervous about that. First of all,
why are you nervous?
I don't know. I feel like anytime I'm involving Billy in some kind of on some of our shenanigans, it might all blow back on me since I'm the closest to him, and he could literally jump in a car for 3 minutes and kick my ass.
Better you than me, pal.
I don't know. Do you want me to try? I could try.
Listen, you ever heard the phrase "let sleeping dogs lie"? That was thought of about Billy Fives when they said that.
I think I'm going to do that. I think I don't want to call Billy without a heads up. I'm smarter than that. I am smarter than that. I am not going to ambush Billy Fives.
Like, we don't know where he is. He's sitting at Le Tub eating a cheeseburger and drinking a beer.
That's true most days. We could check Facebook right now and see if he's checked in yet or not.
He's checked in the Le Tub.
Hang on, I can check it. Let's see. Where's he at? Let's see. He might be there. An hour ago, he's watching baseball games.
At Le Tub.
Oh, but he did post about you 7 hours ago.
Oh, what did he
really?
What did he say?
Oh, no, sorry. That was AJ Styles, not you.
Oh. You got me nervous for a minute.
He said something good times with AJ, and I thought he meant you, but no one has good times with you. Unless Hardcore Kitten's there also.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Well, there was a story with Hack Myers, though. We were in, him and I were in Tampa for some reason. Not for IPW, for something else, for Orlando. And we called up escorts that were an escort service that was run by somebody in the business who was a WWE star. He was actually one half of the Natural Disasters and not the dead one. So you can figure that one out. So not the dead one. But the dead one broke my nose. He ran an escort service, so we called up girls and they came to the place and they were like, I don't know, they thought Hack was a cop or something. Like this man had so many drugs on him that if he was a cop, it's not possible. So, like they were trying to be discreet and stuff and ask him what he wanted without him saying he was trying to buy sex.
Right.
So he just pulls his pants down, he points at his dick and says, "I want you to touch this."
I guess that cleared up any questions of his legal entanglements.
Yes, well, Hack also passed away. A lot of FW guys. Yeah, Hack was wild though.
He was though. But he was such a nice guy, and to work with him in the ring,
He really was
such a wild guy. He was easy to work. He was one of the easiest guys to work.
He really was.
Now, Dave Johnson, on the other hand, not so much.
You shouldn't say anything bad about the dead. So when it comes to Dave Johnson, let's move on. So, like I said, I can't make the Rusty Brooks Memorial, and I really wanted to. I mean, Rusty Brooks. That's another topic entirely. Rusty was so influential that at one point we did a count on a show. We had like 20 guys, and he trained like 18 of them on the show. And think of all the top guys in FOW that Rusty trained: Billy Fives, Bruno Sassi, Pat McGuire. We had Ricky Vandal, Johnny Vandal, J-Dog.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
there were some great Rusty stories, too. Like the time that the fan wanted to, Rusty was iconic, and a fan followed Rusty into the bathroom and asked him for an autograph. Rusty was in a stall taking a shit. And Rusty opened the stall. Rusty opened the stall and handed the kid a piece of used toilet paper and said, "Here, hold this for a second. Give me what you need to sign." The kid held the shitty toilet paper, gave Rusty the picture. He signed it, gave it back to him, and then took the paper back and threw it in the toilet.
Wow. I never heard that story.
That was one of Rusty's favorites he loved to tell.
What year did you meet Rusty?
Well, for the first time I met him when I wasn't even in the business, I was probably like 1987. I met him at a show before I was even involved in the business, and then probably again in 1990. I broke in my first match was 1990, was July 1990. And it's funny how those guys like Bruno and stuff didn't want to be on the show with me because I looked too young. I was too young to be on the show. But when I showed up to a show with Buddy Rogers, Mr. Rogers, yes, everything changed.
Wow. So from a wrestling standpoint, the match that never happened that probably needed to was the Vandals versus the Rogers, but we never got to do it.
Well, we actually were planning on doing it on the D1PW show, but then we were planning it like 8 months in advance, but then COVID happened, and then that just fell through.
Yeah, and that's like the
I mean,
South
could you imagine
match that would have happened?
I mean, listen, Bobby and Blair Rogers were like the top tag team in the state of Florida in the early '90s, and Ricky and Johnny Vandal were the top tag team in the early 2000s. So to have Bobby and Blair against Ricky and Johnny would have been, or even Mike, or even Mike.
I'm trying to picture it though. Oh my god!
Yeah. Wow.
You could referee, baby.
Because Frank didn't want to book me. He never liked me anyway.
Well, that's true. Frank always pushed guys like Hack and Dave Johnson on because they look like wrestlers. He liked those guys. It just turns out the Dave Johnsons and the Cliffs and those guys were just pain in the ass to work with. They were great. They were great in the ring. They looked great. They did look like wrestlers, but they weren't the right guys to push.
Right. They did look like monsters because they were.
They were monsters.
Monsters. Casey was a monster, right? Dave was. he was scary. They were scary dudes, like really.
Dave Johnson whipped maximum capacity with the actual championship belt. He had the entire belt imprint on his back for like a month.
Yeah.
Now Max, there's another topic. I could tell a Hunter story about Max, like the time at the hotel.
Why don't you tell the story how he almost killed us about the mayonnaise on the sandwich? Because you brought that up recently.
He doesn't like mayonnaise. Well, he didn't like mayonnaise. He probably still doesn't much.
First of all, wait. Maximum capacity was how much did he weigh?
650 pounds.
Right. Okay. He didn't like mayonnaise. Put that together.
He said he was Italian. His name was Stanco. His last name. So he would say he said I skeeve mayonnaise. And when Italians said I skeeve something, it's the ultimate insult to that thing they skeeve. It's like it disgusts them, makes their skin crawl.
Right.
So he despised mayonnaise so much that when we were eating in Japan one time, he found out the white sauce had mayonnaise in it. He spit his steak out on the friggin' griddle and got up and left. He hates mayonnaise so bad. So one time they were trip from wherever, and Johnny Vandal went into Subway to get him a sub, and he told Johnny no mayonnaise.
He clearly said no mayonnaise.
So Johnny got extra, double, triple mayonnaise on the sub. And when he got back in the car, Max took a bite of it and saw the mayonnaise and was so disgusted by it. And Max told me, he swore on his father, his mother, everything, that he was so aggravated when they're driving over the St. Pete Bridge, he thought about running the car off of the bridge and killing everyone in the car.
Wow.
And I was
the only reason why he didn't do it is because there was a chance that he would live. He was so big that he would live and they would die, and or he would die and they would live, and he didn't want that to happen. He didn't want to die and them live.
Yeah, and Johnny, like I'm assuming Johnny did it on purpose, but I will never. Max took a bite and was so angry he threw the sandwich against the windshield like full force, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And Johnny was like, "What?" He's like, "I said no mayo." And
Listen, Max loved his food.
Like triple mayo.
Max loved his food. I remember one time we were going to Japan. We stopped at Taco Bell on the way to Japan and got a 20-pack of tacos as an appetizer to eat before we got to Japan.
Jesus.
Wow.
We went to KFC one time. We went to the drive-thru. He ordered a 20-piece family meal, a large popcorn chicken, 10-piece chicken tender meal, extra biscuits, extra mashed potatoes. He looks at me and says, "Do you want anything?"
I went to a buffet with him, a Chinese buffet.
Oh my God.
And I went with him to the buffet, and he walked in, and the lady was like, they were just like, all the ladies were talking. You could see about him. And then she came over, and she like made a comment to him, like
Too much.
don't eat too much or something. And he got so offended that she said that. He's like, "What do you think? I would eat that much?" And the lady's like, "Come on."
He used to get offended when people look at him like, "Man, you're 650 pounds." We were out in public. We were at Roadhouse Grill one time, Roadhouse Steakhouse, and some kid kept staring at him. He leaned into the kid and said, "If you look at me one more time, I'm going to kill your father and fuck your mother." This kid was like 6 years old, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like, "Let's check, please. Let's go." We were at a hotel one time at some show. He was checking in, and the clerk said, "Yeah, we're getting your room, sir. Can you please step aside so other people can check in?" He said, "No, I'm 600 pounds. Let him walk around me." And he stood there at the front desk and wouldn't let anybody out of the front desk. And so people checked in from like 5 feet behind him, and they would like pass their credit card and stuff and check in, and he wouldn't move.
Yeah. He was an asshole sometimes, for sure.
Oh, most of the time.
Sounds like he worked hard to make life more difficult.
Yes, he I don't know. He oh my God, in today's cancel society, he would not survive because he was so horrible to women. He would call women whores to their face.
Yeah, he was horrible. Yeah, he was horrible.
He was like, "Oh,
he really was."
I'm like, "All women are whores." He goes, "Yes, even my mother, she's a whore." Meaning his mother. I'm like, "You call your own mother a whore?" So he wasn't a good person.
He was a pretty big dickhead sometimes.
Well, I can't say he's the reason why I went to federal prison. But I went to federal prison because I committed crimes. He's the reason why I got caught. I went earlier.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he we were doing our stupid thing. I would do my stupid thing with online corporate accounts, and I was paying his credit card accounts as well. But then he would sign back in, and what he was doing was he was taking out $5,000 in cash advances on his card, and then when the charge hit 2 days later, he would pay it back. He would take the cash out again, pay it back, take it out. So he was taking out like $40,000 a month and giving it all to Silhouette.
Oh, and, Silhouette.
He was giving it all to her, and then they said, "Why is this guy paying off $5,000 only to take it out again?" And after they investigated, they realized it wasn't his accounts, and then they came to him and said, "What are you doing?" Not me, it's him.
Oh.
Like the rat was.
So now
I can't be upset that he did that, because if he didn't, I'd probably be dead, because I was making like no less than $8,000 a day at the time. Some days it was 12, some days it was 20,000. And so what would the natural progression would have probably been for me to start doing Hack Myers kind of drugs, and I'd be dead. So I mean, ask Sean Prime about that. Sean Prime was not involved. He doesn't know. But he was at my house one time. He was probably 16 or 17. We were going out somewhere, and I said, "I need some cash." He goes, "Oh, something." I said, "No, just go in my Richard drawer and grab some money." So I'm in there, here. Oh my God! I'm like, "What?" I walk in. He goes, "There must be $50,000 there." So there better not be. It's like 120.
Oh God.
So I was making like 8,000. That was a bad day.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So King of Carnage, right, was like the biggest South Florida wrestling show of its day. Like, I don't think anybody's done anything that big.
Probably the biggest independent wrestling show of its time.
Right, in true independent wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So King of Carnage was a show. What year was that?
It was 2002. It was April 13th, 2002.
Okay, so how many people were there at that show? That was insane.
There were just under 3,100 people that were there for tickets we got back of the gate. That's not counting comps, like if you brought your family in.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of guys bought comps. There was 3,100 people that I could count for. Probably another 100, 200 were comps, but we actually had sold more tickets because we sold through an outlet. So there were like another 600 tickets that didn't show up that were sold through a charity that people wanted to write off. But that whole show had a budget of $26,500 what I spent on this show. The bulk of which was commercial advertising. I spent $8,000 on advertising, and the live gate with everything was with merchandise and everything was just over $85,000.
And so, for anybody who doesn't know, the main event was Abdullah the Butcher versus Dusty Rhodes versus Kevin Sullivan versus Terry Funk. But I don't think you've never told me the story personally. I've heard it like this last couple months from a couple people. Did they hit you up for more money before the main event? Because I've heard this like a couple times from people.
They did. It was because of Sal. They hit me up, not because of Sal directly, but it was because we were videotaping the event. And we were going to sell the DVDs and stuff. And Sal was trying to sell them on 5% of the sales, and they were like, "Nope, you're never going to pay us.
Yeah,
we want cash up front." And then Sal's like, "No, I'll pay you. And they're like, "No, you're never going to pay us." So they wanted cash up front, and they did it for a very, very nominal amount extra compared to what we were selling, and that was still, and I still made so much money on the gate anyway. So they only wanted $2,500 extra each. But they didn't hold me up for they did not do the match for the money. They went out there and they said, "Listen, it's time for the main event." Dusty says, "We'll go out there and do the match, and we'll work out afterwards. We trust you. You have a good reputation in the business. We'll work out afterwards." And Kevin vouched for me as well. Terry had worked with me before, and I booked Abdullah before, so they were fun. They didn't actually refuse to do the match for that more money. They actually went out and did the match anyway, on the promise that we would work out more money afterwards. And initially they wanted like $10,000 each, and I said there's no way. And and then I got them down to $2,500 each extra for the match, and they signed over the video rights to me for that, which we sold which there were I think 60,000 copies sold according to some barcode program that you can check the barcode and see how many copies were sold, of which I got paid nothing for. So they were kind of right. I never got paid for them.
Right, and that's how Sal started. Basically, Evolve and all these other wrestling companies he did.
So, one of which was just sold, and I don't hold any, and I'm not saying anything bad about the guy because Sal did great. He wound up being Evolve. He sold it for a big profit. I have no ill will towards the guy. I was going to federal prison anyway, so what did it matter? I wish he would have gave me a spot somewhere, like as a manager. On one of his shows. That's what I wanted to do, to bury the hatchet. I have no ill will towards the guy. I'm glad that if anyone can make money in the business, and he did really well for himself, and that's good.
Speaking of managing, you should just manage me July 18th, so that if anything gets out of hand, we can just put you in harm's way of Billy, and maybe it'll bring back a flashback, and he can.
Well, that'd be up to Dave, but yeah, I would love to. Of course, I would. I would manage you in that match.
Blake's not allowed to come to the show apparently, but at least you'll be there.
Why Billy banned Blake?
It doesn't sound like Blake's going to be there. So
I think Blake decided to start announcing for a competing organization, and now he's I guess maybe it's all just in Blake's head, but I think Blake thinks he's not welcome there anymore. Although Gangrel did wish him happy birthday on Facebook, so maybe it's all.
Oh, I did see that.
No, Blake is working.
I did see that.
Oh, that's right. Blake's working with CCW or something now, right? Yeah. Right. I don't even know what's going on.
And I don't know if I told you, Bobby, but so J-Dog called me to work the Rusty show. He wants me to wrestle Soul Man.
Are you going to do it or not? Are you in town or no?
I think I'm going to do it.
You should. Soul Man's one of the best down there.
I mean, so
don't be afraid. He'll carry you.
What's that?
He'll carry you through a good match. Don't worry.
Yeah, he carried me 20 years ago. He's still going to carry me because he was in my first match, and I believe it was your show, but Rusty got me booked. Is that right? I think so. Wasn't it your show?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It was at that like war memorial.
Oh yeah. It was. Yeah, Soul Man. I do remember that. It was a 6-man, wasn't it?
Right. It was a 6-man. I don't. Yeah. It was. Well, Soul Man was on my team, or was I against him?
No, you were against him. You were against him.
It was me, my brother, and Wet Willie or something.
Yeah.
Or Shred. It was Shred, maybe against Jeff Roth, Soul Man, and someone else.
Flex, maybe.
It's funny that it was your first match, but you can't remember.
No, I just know
better
Soul
than
Man
Bobby.
And Jeff Roth were in it.
Yeah.
I remember Jeff Roth because just that's still a guy.
Well, because he used to make your drinks for you after the show.
we did tell that story.
No,
you told that story before.
The Jeff Roth, the rum and cock.
Rum and cock. If Jeff Roth ever gives you a drink, don't drink it.
Yes, unless you see him
pour it. You're Snake Master.
Yeah, if he hands you anything, if he hands you a bottle of water, make sure it's not open. Anything.
That's funny. Well, yeah. I just wanted to know about the King of Carnage, which I would like.
The whole way that match came to be is also a great story. You know, we had booked the match was originally going to be Abdullah the Butcher versus Kevin Sullivan because Abu Dhabi was pushing for me to book Sullivan. Right. We booked Abdullah versus Kevin. That was the main event. That was it. And we went to print out flyers. We went to print out flyers and everything else. And then I was talking to Frank. I said, we booked Abdullah before, and he couldn't make it because he got booked in Japan. And if he gets booked in Japan, we can't fault him for going. So maybe we'll book Terry Funk as well, make it a 3-way, and we won't advertise Terry Funk. And he'd look a surprise. And then we said, you know what? How are you going to book Terry Funk and not advertise him? So we went to reprint with the flyers. So we made it a 3-way with with Sullivan, Terry, and Abdullah. And then I get a phone call on my cell phone, and I answer the phone. Hello. He goes, hello, Bobby Rogers, please. I said, who's this? He said, American Dream, Dusty Rhodes calling. I said, okay. He goes, I hear you got a big match coming up with Terry Funk and Abdullah and Kevin Sullivan. I said, yep. He says, you got any more money in your pocketbook for the Dream? I said, absolutely. We'd love to have you. I guess Howard Brody had given my number. So I said, absolutely, we'd love to have you. I said, how much would you need to come out to the show? He said, how much are you paying Terry Funk? I said, Dusty, Terry's getting $2,000 for the match. He says, I'll come out for $2,001.
That old favorite nations contract.
He wanted $1 more than Terry Funk. So he gave him $2,001.
I love how you bring up. We talk about Howard on the show a lot, but Howard doesn't know because he doesn't listen. But we've told so many Howard Brody stories because he's absolutely ridiculous. It's funny that you brought Howard's number up because I won't give Howard's number up because
he would hold it against me forever.
Well, the only rule I have when Anthony tells a Howard Brody story is he has to do the Howard Brody voice.
I do this Howard's voice. Yeah.
Let me hear it.
What?
Let me hear you do Howard's voice.
You gotta talk. Huh? Now I'm on the spot. I can't do it.
Well, I would always do Rusty Brooks. I would do Rusty's iconic voice so much so that when we were in California, it was me, Sean Prime, Beast, and Aaron Agony, and we were driving down Hollywood Boulevard, and we felt the ambiance of Hollywood. So they had me reciting famous movie lines in Rusty Brooks' voice, and so I was doing the whole Rusty Brooks. I'm like, hey, J-Dog, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father, did he? No, J-Dog, I'm your father, goddammit. So I was doing the Rusty Brooks to all kinds of iconic movie lines. So let me hear your Howard Brody.
Well, Howard talks like he has that hey, it's Howard. Like he has that squeaky almost voice, and you're like, he calls me. Howard calls me quite often, and he'll recently. I'll just bring up a recent conversation where he calls. He just calls shooting the shit, and next thing you know, he's like, the 1972 Yankees. I'm like, what? And he'll just go on a whole rant about Joe DiMaggio was a great baseball player.
Howard knows a lot of shit about pop culture. Now,
he knows everything.
Listen, there's these videos that I watch online, and the narrator of the video sounds so much like Howard Brody. I'm gonna send you a link to it one time. You have to listen and tell me that isn't Howard Brody. It sounds so much like him. But it's, I don't know, it's some broke straight guys, I think, .com.
That's funny. Yeah, and Howard knows a lot of pop culture.
Yeah. So
he
knows everything.
We need at some point, because you just reminded me with your story of doing the Rusty stuff. On another podcast, since we're kind of running long on this one, we need to hear some tales from Bobby's end of that trip to California with Prime, Agony, and Beast.
Oh yeah, because has Marco told those stories before?
Marco, I think's told one or two, but like the going on Price is Right and et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like you've got some good ones that they're not telling.
Yeah, that was a great trip. It was my 39th. It was right around that time. Wait, when were we there? No, I don't know when we were there. I think it was my 39th birthday, and my mother just passed away the month before. We had planned the trip before she passed away, and then she passed away a few days before Christmas on the day of the Bombshell show. So I still went through with the trip. But yeah, that was a good trip. Like, did they tell a story about them walking down the street and buying weed from some random guy?
I think you need to have him on the show with Marco.
I don't even know who did it. I think I don't even know who did it. Was it Agony or was it Prime? I don't know who did it. All I know is they saw some random wacko walking down the street. We'll be right back. They walked down the street and they came back with a bag of weed. So, yeah.
Jesus. Well, all right, and we're running long. We got to go. I got to take a piss really, really bad. I was going to ask you one more thing, and that was.
Wait, what?
You're breaking up.
You're talking about your mom.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And every time I think about.
I can hear what you're saying.
Hey, AJ, I don't know where you are, but you got to find a clearer place to stand.
Yeah. Are you in traffic? You're gonna piss on yourself again.
I'm literally gonna piss myself.
Did he tell the story about he was on the way to a job interview and he pissed himself in traffic?
I already told the story. I told it.
Okay.
I should piss myself.
Yeah, my mom liked you. My mom did like you. I don't know why.
Every time you talk about your mom, I think about the one time with my kids, and you know what I'm gonna say when they were telling your mom to smell their feet. You remember that?
Yeah, Nick was like 5 years old. He was sitting behind my mother in the waitress. He's like, "Smell my feet. Do they stink?"
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom passed out the day before your son's birthday party. The day that you had a ring at your parents' house in Boca. It was like a day or two before that. Oh yeah. Yeah, have me back on. I'll tell you all the California stories, Rusty Brook stories, and more. It was fun.
We need a part 2 to this.
Well, we need part 2 through 8. We'll organize another meeting of the minds here, and maybe we'll get some clearer.
Do you want McDonald's tonight?
Me? No, I'm good. I already ordered pizza. I'm good for today. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for doing this.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh my God.
You bleep out my fucking phone number.
What?
You gotta bleep out my phone number.
I can't hear you. Your phone keeps breaking up.
Bleep out my phone number.
Call me back. I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
I said bleep out my fucking phone number.
I still can't hear you. What's going on over there?
Oh my God! What's wrong with my phone?
What's that noise behind you?
My other phone.
I can't hear you with that phone ringing.
I'm about to piss my pants. Goodbye.